Also, Miss Katie's got us some key lime bars.
I love key lime.
I do too.
I'm a fan of bars. But I think it's a different kind of bar.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Let's
take a pause and
we're gonna hit the pause button on this thing and travel upstairs. Grab whatever it is that we need. What is it that we're? I guess we'll talk about when we come back.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when we come back.
But we're gonna talk about the cocktail that we come back. It's called the Brotherhood. But other than that, you're not getting any other information. Hopefully, you're not a poop and you froze the coop. Don't go anywhere. You've already hit record.
Of course I have.
Well, that was a very short break then, I guess, wasn't it? Listeners didn't even know that we ran upstairs and sliced a little key lime.
Man, if they could only see this.
Yes, it's dripping with delightfulness. You know what? They will see it if we take pictures of it and post it on the socials.
Good point.
Yes, lovely. I think I'll leave mine right where it is because it's got some great lighting on it. So I'll set this here.
I'm gonna let you
back here. I'm gonna ramble while I try to take a fancy photo. It's not gonna work. Move this over here. Gonna move this over here. I went to take a picture and it picked up the QR code on the sticker. It's like, do you want us to take you to the... See, there it goes again. Web address, www.savortheburn.com. No, I don't want to go there. Not right now. Perfect. It's probably not going to be as perfect as the picture you got. Yes, that's one of the unexpected perks of starting this podcast with a spectacular W2. It's a package deal. You don't just get him. You also get little Henry running around, but you also get his lovely wife, Miss Katie, and she's always coming in clutch with the tasty treats. First, it was the banana bread.
Well, second, third, fourth, fifth were banana bread.
Right. Yeah, it's been cookies. It's been other tasty dessert bars. And now it's this key lime bar. It's got an incredibly delightful, thick-looking graham cracker crust.
That is a homemade crust, by the way.
Homemade? Ho did what?
Shut your mouth.
You got some Cool Whip and a slice of key lime on the top.
Mm-hmm.
To the untrained eye, it might look like a pickle, but it's not. It's not a pickle.
Henry requested and had 2 pickles for breakfast this morning.
Oh, really? Are you a pickle family?
We like pickles.
Uh-huh.
I can only do breakfast for breakfast.
Okay.
I can do breakfast for dinner all day long.
Right.
For breakfast, I can't do non-breakfast things.
So you're not going to wake up and eat pot roast.
Right.
Okay.
But the boy wanted a pickle this morning.
You know what? To each their own.
That's right.
To each their own. So we come back from the break, key lime bar in hand, but also, I wouldn't say more importantly, but I mean, it's kind of the reason why we came back. We got this lovely cocktail.
Right.
What can you tell me about it? I
want to come up with a very specific Irish whiskey cocktail to go with our Redbreast because it just made sense. And I also wanted to find something that was a little bit different than our norm. And so I looked around and I found a handful of really great looking recipes, and we're going to continue to plow through Irish whiskeys because who doesn't like a good Irish whiskey?
You know what? I was surprised when I found out that one of my bosses at work, Jared, the one that I got that euphemism, it's like a sore dick, you can't beat it. He doesn't like Irish whiskeys because they're just too damn sweet. So...
Crazy.
Each their own.
Crazy, right. But so I found a handful of them that sounded really great. Mm-hmm. Redbreast had a couple of them on their website. I've also learned one of the sources that I always do is whatever specific whiskey we're trying, I go back to their website because a lot of them have started to post their own cocktails.
Which is great.
Because they've made it specifically with their whiskey, and it's going to pair well. And they had an old-fashioned variation called the Flying Old Fashioned.
Right.
That I want to come back to at some point and revisit that one because that one just sounded really delightful.
You told me that variant has...
creme de peach liqueur.
Creme de peach.
Yeah.
Like that sounds amazeballs just by itself.
Right.
So hopefully soon I'll be back here and we'll definitely try that out.
But this cocktail is called the Brotherhood.
The Brotherhood.
And this is one, I'm going to read a little bit of the description on there to give credit with where this one comes from. This is Irish whiskey is a versatile spirit that ranges from simple mass market blends to complex single malts. The Brotherhood is an alliance of Irish and French spirits from Charles Jolly, a Chicago bartending veteran and the co-founder of Craft House Cocktails, a bottled cocktail company. I don't have a year on here, so I'm going to go back and revisit and see if I can find what year this cocktail was created. But anyway, it says this cocktail combines Irish whiskey with Benedictine, which I had never used before.
I'd never heard of it.
Right. Cointreau plus lemon juice for a sharp balance in an alliance of French and Irish spirits from, once again, Charles Jolly, a Chicago bartending veteran. So we've got the Redbreast 12-year cask strength, the Benedictine liqueur, Cointreau. I found a couple other recipes that actually were identical with the exception of they had Grand Marnier in there instead of the Cointreau.
Which I would call it Grand Mariner.
That's what I've always called it, but I've been corrected a couple times lately, so I'm trying real hard to remember to pronounce that correctly. And then, of course, not from a bottle, fresh squeezed lemon juice.
Yes.
In our chilled coupe glass. And while this is still nice and chilled,
we'll get ourselves a cheers.
Get ourselves a clink going.
It wasn't very audible. I heard it.
All right.
There's something about that screams sophistication.
Yeah. And I've got a nice twisted swath kind of laid in the cocktail. We shook that in a shaker and then did a double strain on there to get some of the pulp out.
So do you like your orange juice with or without pulp, or do you even care?
I'm going to say I don't care because I find myself buying the pulp-free more regularly, but I do like orange pulp.
Okay. Usually when I grab a bottle of
whatsoever.
it'll say it'll usually say some pulp. I don't really like going for the pulp free.
I like the calcium fortified variation.
Yeah. Some pulp with calcium. That key lime bar is stupid good, right?
My goodness.
I'll grab that, but I only asked because you did double strain it. It's not a clear cocktail.
Yeah.
But it would have been a little more cloudy with the pulp in there. I like the pulp. It gives me something, more to digest. It keeps me fuller longer. Whatever.
One thing I've been noticing, I think it's one of those details that is just kind of taken a little bit of time for me to kind of catch on to. A lot of the Instagram reels that we watch, the Thirsty Whale is a great. I love his videos. He does cocktails, whether he's if he's doing a cocktail with a large cube. A lot of times you'll see him get the block out of the freezer and he's got this
stab it
big old butcher knife type thing, and he'll sit there and you'll see him shaving this down to a rough large cube or whatever. He also uses the large cubes in his shaker. And up to this point, I just get the regular ice out of the ice maker
ice,
because it's convenient and easy. My large cubes, I kind of hoard those because those are for the cocktail glass themselves.
And they take quite a bit longer to make.
They do.
Too, or to freeze.
Yeah, but I think there is something to shaking with large cubes because you end up with less ice and frozen dilution coming out of the shaker, which is what you end up getting on the top of it. We double strained it, which got a lot of the pulp out of it.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot floating on the top of it, and it's ice chips. From shaking it, it really, really chills it down, and you end up getting with a lot of ice chips, And maybe I'm shaking it too long. Maybe just a shorter shake would be a little bit better. The picture reference that I put on our notes here is a very, very clear, very clean cocktail. But it
said,
it doesn't bother me.
How many times have we gone to the website and
I know where you're going with this,
right? And looked at the picture that they have, like from the distiller's website, from the manufacturer's website. They created the damn cocktail, and so they put a picture on there,
and they tell you to use X type of glass.
Right. And you use the glass, you use the ingredients, everything followed the instructions down to the letter. And what do you get? A different looking cocktail.
It does not look like the photo that they put next to it.
It does not. So this one here looks kind of like maybe a medium amber colored cocktail on the picture. But in the glass, it looks like lemon honey.
It's a little darker than a lemon yellow, but it's definitely not an amber.
But the taste, I don't think we got to talk about the taste of it yet. The taste is, to me, it's honey sweet. It's citrus forward with the between the Cointreau, the orange overtones, and the lemon juice that you squeezed in here, the freshly squeezed lemon juice that you put in here. It's incredibly delightful, and all these ingredients, including the ice, helped knock the proof down to where it's 100% palatable.
You know, I hadn't even thought about that. But
Delightful.
You're absolutely right. I've sipped on this and enjoyed it, and I completely forgot. We're drinking 116 proof whiskey.
And it was ounce and a half?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very good.
So I just did a lookup because even though I went to the store and I bought a bottle of the Benedictine, I forgot what exactly it was. And Benedictine is a herbal liqueur produced in France. It was developed by wine merchant Alexandre Legrand in the 19th century and is reputedly flavored with 27 flowers, berries, herbs, roots, and spices.
Wow.
A drier version, B&B, blending Benedictine with brandy, was developed in 1930. So this is the actual Benedictine, the Dom brand, but produced in France.
I wonder now, after having
27 flowers.
Right? Like, I wonder why this is not more popular. Because this is several steps above a Manhattan, several steps above
That's really good.
An old fashioned.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and as I've been digging through and looking for new cocktail recipes, I've come across Benedictine in a handful of different cocktails before and kind of passed on them because I didn't have it, and I wasn't really sure what it was. But this one, I was like, yep, it's time to get a new ingredient for the cocktails.
What are you doing over there? You working on that key lime bar?
So good. I love that thick graham cracker crust too.
So I wrote down here, a wonderfully complex cocktail. Pulling from the myriad flowers and spices used in the Benedictine, this honey-sweet cocktail knocks the proof down and wakes up the taste buds to experience this must-try delight that is sure to set new standards in your cocktail menu for your friends and family.
I like that.
Yeah, I didn't put anything about the citrus in there. What's that look for? Did you eat your key lime?
I just bit into it and ate it, yeah.
Nothing's safe. Nothing is safe from the spectacular.
Little extra zing on that.
I've been trying to work on mine long distance so I'm not like chomping into the microphone. Did you already work on your rating?
I guess I need to do that.
For me, I didn't put a lot of thought into it. I just roll with how I was feeling on it, and how I felt was 100% great. I loved the presentation. The finish is there. It's perfect. On the palate, it had more than I expected. I didn't really know what to expect because I had never experienced the Benedictine. What is it? A liqueur?
It's a liqueur.
Okay. And the nose, you spend a little bit of time with this on the nose, it's just going to make you want to drink it.
Oh, wow.
Right?
We touched on this on the last time we got together, and you know, for whatever reason, when it comes to a cocktail, I really never think much about the nose.
Right.
Either A, we've already experienced it and reviewed the whiskey itself neat and talked in length on the nose. Yeah, I don't know why. I never really stop and think about the nose on this, but now that we're talking about it and I've still got a little bit left. First off, and those who don't know, a swath just means it's a really wide...
it's like a 3/4 inch by 3-inch peel of the citrus, you know,
so I actually
you got on hand. This time it's lemon.
I actually have a citrus peeler that is specific for garnishes, but it only does like maybe a hair over a 1/4 inch wide.
Yeah.
which
Super
is great,
skinny.
but it makes it like a shoestring kind of a garnish.
It looks cool.
Totally has its place. There's definitely use for that,
You don't
but
get the oils.
I don't know. As I've kind of dug into this and looking at all the different videos that I find on there, one, I think it's way easier to just use a nice paring knife and cut yourself a nice wide chunk off the rind of your citrus fruit, and then you just kind of trim as needed on the edges to clean it up, give it a little bit of uniformity. But I think it's easier. But it also gives it a little bit nicer presentation because it makes the garnish have a little bit more presence and a little bit less afterthought, in my opinion.
Yeah, visually and tastefully.
Yeah.
Like, if you gave me the 1/4-inch shoestring version of it, I would think, okay, this is more for show than go. It's all show and no go.
And having a wide twist in the drink really, really enhances the nose as you kind of put this up to your face. Yeah, the nose on this is actually very, very delightful. There is a lot of orange. There's a lot of lemon. And then you're picking up that Benedictine is very herbal. There's a lot of floral notes in there.
So much going on, and it's unexpectedly great. Yeah, you remember that Cold Cock whiskey? I remember trying that, and I was thinking, this is fucking awful. But now, knowing what I know, that Cold Cock whiskey would have been much better in a cocktail.
Yeah,
because it was very floral. It was very herbaceous, if that's a word that makes sense in this context. But
Dear Webster.
Dear Webster. Yeah, you can, Dear Webster, you can keep adding my Sugar Creek words to your lexicon. Can you think of any Irish rock and or metal bands that you have either seen live or that you have listened to quite a bit? I mean, I looked up a little list here on Google, and there's a few that I recognize. Thin Lizzy, of course.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I forgot what album it was, but like there was a song like Jimmy the Fox meets Johnny the Weed or whatever, I think was one of the songs on the album. But like that entire album, which when I say album, I could mean CD or cassette or however it is that you digest your music. Not one song at a time. I don't believe in listening to songs from an album piecemeal, like singles. Like singles are just enough. They're the appetizer. You listen to the singles and then you go check out the entire record, the whole album. So yeah, right off the top of this list, names that I recognize and have listened to: Thin Lizzy, of course, we already mentioned that one. U2, Love 'Em or Hate 'Em, they're Irish. The Cranberries, we already talked about that. Municipal Waste, a lot of people love that shit. I honestly, I thought Municipal Waste was part of the Bay Area thrash, and that's where they came from, like from the San Francisco Bay Area. Because I mean, it says here since 2000, but I swear I thought they were part of the late 80s, early 90s, but they're not. They're not. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. There's a band called Therapy with a question mark at the end of it. I swear they showed up on one of the Nativity and Black tribute albums for the Black Sabbath thing, I think. There's a couple other names on here that sound familiar, like Cursed Sun, Zealot Cult.
So a big favorite of mine.
Yeah, what do you got?
They are Irish descent, but they're definitely a Boston-based band.
All right.
Dropkick Murphys.
Dropkick Murphys, okay.
Huge fan of those. And with all three of my kids, I can't help but to really promote music to them. And so, when Cora was little, I used to sit and listen to music with her and that. And Ethan, I did the same with him from an early age, kind of trying to really introduce him to music and all that. And early on, I don't feel like he really latched onto music. And I think about 7 or 8, for whatever reason, the band that just made music click for him was Dropkick Murphys. He fell in love with their sound and what they bring to it. And so I bought tickets for the two of us to go to, he may have been 9 now that I think about it, but still 7, 9, somewhere in there. We went to see Dropkicks at the Uptown.
Okay.
And that was actually his first concert experience. Okay. And it was a band that he was excited to see live. He had been listening to them, so he knew all their music and all that. And we get there, and Uptown Theater, general admission. So we got there early. We were up down front.
What year?
This would have been
I asked because
mid 2000s. So
mid-2000s. Okay, so
04, 05,
so
somewhere in
the
there.
mosh pits had probably started to tone down, but they had only started to tone down.
So I had already seen them a few.
Still pretty fucking violent.
I had already seen them a few times, so I knew what to expect. And we got
Like
there
an old school skanking.
We got there early enough that there wasn't a whole lot of people up front, and so we could have gone right up against, with maybe 1-2 people in front of us.
Yeah.
Up against stage, but I hung us back a little bit, and then when everything started filling in, and right before they came on stage, I told him,
Shit's about to get weird.
we were about right side of the stage, just right of center, and I told him, I said, regardless of what happens, regardless of what you're thinking, I need you to stand behind my right shoulder. Make sure I'm in front of you at all time, and make sure I'm just to your left. I want you to my right, because we were just right of center.
Okay.
I knew that the circle was going to get going
open
at some point. And sure enough, I mean, a half a song in, the pit starts going and the circle's going and people and bodies are just swirling all over the place. And my favorite story from that whole night was somewhere about mid-set. It was getting really, really rowdy. And Ethan leans forward and it's loud. So he's yelling in my ear, "Dad, that dude just got punched in the face." Welcome to the Dropkick Murphy, son. And yeah, so to this day, I mean, I don't even know what his favorite band is at this time, but he loves Lamb of God.
Burn the Gates.
Well, that's of course.
Or before they got that fucking new singer.
He loves Lamb of God. He loves Meshuggah. And yeah, I'm not really sure what he considers his favorite these days, but he's definitely gotten turned on to the heavier side of things since then. But he still loves his roots of Dropkick Murphys.
Very cool.
There's also another band that I've seen a couple times touring with Dropkick called the Mahomes.
I don't think I've heard the Mahomes at all.
They are pretty much every song is about whiskey.
That's pretty funny. Speaking of whiskey and coming back to this cocktail, we got a rating to discuss. How's that for a segue?
Let's do that.
What'd you get for the nose?
So as we started off talking about the nose, and we ended up in rock music.
Right.
But that's all right. Someone got their nose broke in a mosh pit at some point.
So it all relates.
It all relates. I gave it a 4 1/4.
4 1/4? That's a bit conservative, because I gave it a 5.
All right.
Because I really love the way it smelled with the lemon expressed on the top and the honey forward smell on the nose that I could smell. It smells like honey. There's no honey in it.
Yep.
As far as I know. But
I was proud of my 4 1/4 because when it comes to cocktails, I never think about the nose, and then as a result, when I go back and I look, I always don't give it much of a rating for nose, because it's like.
But I saw you when you like, oh yeah, nose. You had that look on your face, and then when you smelled it, you're like, wow. I saw it on the face, and I even heard you say, wow. So I thought, wow, shit, it's hopefully going to get a good rating. And 4 1/4 is a good rating. Is a great rating for W2 on a cocktail. How about palate?
I gave it a 4 1/2.
4 1/2. All right. I gave it a 5.
Okay.
Because everything on it was just wow to me.
Between the lemon and the orange flavors and all of that herbal earthiness.
Yes, that was most of the wow for me.
I mean, it took that 116 proof and it just squashes it down.
Yeah.
And just makes everything.
And part of that could be
chill.
the ice.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Once it melts, it dilutes the whole thing. And also to go with the palate, we used Cointreau, which is like an orange liqueur kind of thing, which is inherently sweet but super citrusy. You also, in the same amount, 3/4 ounce of the Cointreau, but you also use 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. And lemon juice is super tart, and it's definitely super citrusy. But this whole recipe, there's no sweetener in it, other than what you would find in the liqueur. And I haven't had the Benedictine by itself, So I don't know what that would taste like, if it's a sweet liqueur kind of thing or not. But knowing what went in it and getting that flavor out of it, it wowed the fuck out of me. That's why I ended up with a 5 on the palate. And same for the finish. It's also a 5 for the finish.
All right.
For me too.
Man, I feel a little bad.
No, don't feel bad.
I give it 4.25.
4.25 is great too.
For my finish.
4.25 is great too.
Yeah, I thought the finish was great.
I'm a lot more liberal when it comes to the cocktails. What brought you to 4.25 on the finish? Anything special or anything holding you back from a 4.5?
And I think I mentioned this on the last one, but you know, I find myself, because I'm making them, I also find myself kind of holding back some on the rating.
How do you mean?
Or
why? Why do you mean?
Oh, why? No idea.
Okay.
But yeah.
Just because we are our own worst critics?
That right there.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I always feel like there's going to be something better. So surely this can't be a 5.
Yep. Surely there has to be a 5. And I'm happy with giving this one a 5. Just because I've had a 15.
That amaretto sour.
That Kentucky Straight bourbon amaretto sour.
Rest in peace, that bottle is no more.
Right, you just killed it. I saw that. You finished it off.
I should have, when I was visiting my sister, I should have picked up another bottle because I saw it at the liquor store when we were there.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
Do they have it here in town? Have you looked? I don't know. I haven't been to a lot of liquor stores.
I've looked, but I have not seen it.
Okay. Yeah.
I might just ask her to have to pick me up one. And
did I see that Lucas closed its doors? So now it's something else, or what? What's that all about?
The Overland Park one, has changed to a Total Wine.
Total Wine,
which I'm kind of excited about because
You're excited about Total Wine.
Have you been to a Total Wine?
No.
Okay.
Because it's Total Wine.
Well,
where's the whiskey? Where's the beer?
Well, first off, if you've been in Lucas, 5/8 of that store is nothing but wine.
5/8? Not a skosh more or less?
Little more than half.
Okay, all right.
If I would have said 3/4, I would have been exaggerating.
Okay, all right.
5/8.
They do have an incredible wine selection.
Yeah, and it's an enormous wine section. But anyway, we went to a Total Wine when we were in Knoxville, and that's actually one of the places that we found about a dozen of those bourbon creams that Katie had to have, and I mean, I guess I had to have them too. But.
Right, I was going to say you're going to drop all that on board, Katie.
Their bourbon and whiskey selection was amazing. I'm not fooling myself. Name change or not, we're still in the middle of the Midwest.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be the same selection as
we should have the best of both coasts and everything in between, right here in the middle.
I feel so.
Yeah. Now, damn it.
But no, I am excited because I've now been in two. There's a Total Wine in St. Louis that I've been in that was amazing, just in terms of selection and price. Mm-hmm. And so, crossing fingers. I was a huge fan of Lucas. Mm-hmm. I'm very hopeful that it will at least stay on par, if not bring a little bit better selection.
Well,
and their selection was fantastic as Lucas.
Right.
So
as great as I thought Lucas was, I think that's kind of a bold statement. Like, really, you think you can do better than Lucas? Well, I mean,
yep.
I haven't been to Total Wine, so I'm looking forward to checking it out. Little Ozzy over there, he's meowing. So back to the rating. Did we talk about the finish?
We did. We talked about the finish. I think we're on presentation.
Maybe I rated it too high.
Okay.
Because it's in a coupe.
Don't be a poop.
Freeze your coupe. It was in a chilled coupe, which is what the recipe calls for. Not only was it simple and elegant and aesthetically pleasing to the eye, it was a little extra. It was a little more. So, I don't know. Maybe I should have given it a touch above average, but it's a presentation on a cocktail on my fucking podcast, created by the one and only spectacular Mr. W2, and I have no choice but to give it a 5.
All right.
Thank
you, sir.
Fight me. That's the Irish whiskey talking, I swear. Put your fucking dukes up.
I gave it a 4.5.
A 4.5.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better about my 5. Because I thought, fuck, maybe I should have given it a, 3 3/4, 3, maybe a 4. I don't know.
I mean, just like you said, if we're making this in a coupe glass,
It's everything we expected it to look like.
my pinky is up, and I'm giving it a little bit more of a rating because we have frozen our coupe glass.
We have not been a poop. We have frozen our coop.
That's right.
But I will say, and this is a very good thing, by the way, it's deceptive how the chasm, not just the difference, but the chasm between what it looks like and what it tastes like. It looks simple, but what it tastes like is super complex and very, very good.
That Benedictine really pushed it in a different direction.
So that brought my my overall rating to a 10. And having, like I've said before here a little bit ago, after having previously had a 15, I know what a 10. I'm pretty sure as far as cocktails go, I should know what a 10 is when I see it. So how about you? Where did you put it?
Mine came out to an 8 3/4.
Excelente. Just to hit rewind, what did you say that variant was on the Redbreast? A Lestau? Lestau. Okay. So I just checked the post that I made in the Kansas City Whiskey Guild Facebook group. Between the two, I was like, which is better? Redbreast 12 versus Redbreast Cask Strength.
Oh, did someone say the Lestau?
Yeah, they did. Brandon says Cask Strength for me. I enjoy the Lestau too, but can't seem to find it.
I haven't looked very hard yet, but I have looked in a couple places, and yeah, it is a little bit harder to find. Redbreast in general is not every liquor store is going to carry it, so you're definitely going to have to look in your little bit more premium liquor stores that carry a wider variety of things. And it's Lestau, Lustau. And it's the same type of bottle and presentation with a kind of a coppery orange kind of a color on the
bird
cap.
Look like? What's it doing?
It is in flight.
Oh, it's also in flight, like the Cask Strength, yeah.
I think it's slightly different. Yeah, very similar, but different.
The feet are a little more squat.
Mm-hmm. And the Lestau edition is 92 proof. So the 12-year is 80 proof. Lestau is 92. So it's kind of
a great
right,
sweet spot.
It's right in the middle.
It's a great sweet spot. We've had 90s and 100s and 80s.
And it is matured in a sherry cask.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a little bit different.
Which is the difference between this 12-year and the Lestau is a no-age statement. So they're not telling us how old it is. I have to believe it's got to be very comparable.
Yeah.
With the 12 being their entry level, I really have a hard time believing it's going to be much less than that.
Anything less than that is going to have different flavor profiles, different flavors to add to or counteract or negate the 12 years. So, I mean, that could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. Yeah. It's all up to the cook to design the recipe.
And looking at the Flaviar flavor spiral that they put together with the tasting notes, it looks like it's fig and caramel heavy with an orange zest and black pepper as a follow-up.
Wow.
I will find it. I do know that the Whiskey Snug has it in their tasting room.
Okay.
That is definitely going to have to be a trip.
It's got to happen.
Not just to go to the Whiskey Snug, but one of our Whiskey Snug trips, top shelf of their tasting room, they have the 12 Cask Strength, 15 Lestau, 21, and they also, last time I was up there, they had a bottle of that beautiful red velvet 27-year bottle. The bottle is out of price range. A pour of it is probably a little steeper than what I would typically expect. But it's a pour, so it
would be 20.
Why not?
Right. I would think 50 is probably as high as I would go for a pour.
I'd agree with that.
Because I work a lot of overtime. And damn it, what good is it? I got this from my bass player in Into Existence, Billy. He says, what good is it to work all this overtime if you can't spend a little bit on your friends and the people you love? I'm like, ever since he told me that, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, fuck, man, he's absolutely right. Like, that's the whole point. Make the money, spend the money, and share it with the people that you love. Do you have anything to add as far as these tastings go? As far as this cocktail goes?
This was a great cocktail. I definitely want to keep up with this cocktail and at some point reintroduce it with another Irish whiskey.
Okay.
and see if we feel the same about it with another one.
Mm-hmm.
This has been fun tonight, having the same whiskey side by side, with the only difference being one straight from the barrel, the other one is quote unquote tavern strength.
Yeah.
And I think the cocktail also would be fun to kind of, the other side of that is trying the same cocktail like we did with the snake bite, with the Metallica and the number 9, the blackened and the number 9, and the first frost.
Yeah.
That was great because from a cocktail standpoint, all your ingredients stay the same. It's just a different whiskey.
That's it.
And man, how that can change.
Boy, howdy. Yeah. So once again, dear listener, if you believed what we said before about Redbreast Irish whiskey being the new standard, the Redbreast 12, as far as Irish whiskeys go, then maybe you can trust our word on what the Cask Strength has to offer. And maybe, hopefully then, if you've had any of our cocktails, you'll also trust our word on what the Brotherhood cocktail featuring the Redbreast Cask Strength has to offer. And we certainly do hope that you try that out. And let us know what you think. Send us an email, info@savortheburn.com. You can email me personally, Jonathan, at savortheburn.com, or the spectacular W2 at savortheburn.com. Once again, thank you for listening to us on your podcast app of choice. And please, if you haven't already done it, follow us along on all our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Most especially YouTube, where you will find the bar kit that you have probably seen little videos of us talking and pimping said bar tool kit giveaway. All you have to do is be a subscriber by midnight on Thanksgiving, and you're in the running. You could actually win this damn thing. So definitely subscribe, follow, find us everywhere. Always check out the ever-evolving, always updating savortheburn.com. The spectacular W2 is constantly updating it and finding new ways of making it more and more rad-ass. So always keep in mind, dear listener, to no matter where you are, what you're doing, who you're drinking with, always remember, keep on burning.